My name's Callie Sangra.
Ian Walters.
I'm Lauren Ellis.
So my name is Robert Hall.
My name is Nicola Scope.
My name is Bez Berry.
I'm Katie Nerisi.
My name's Chris Young.
My name is Max Keatman.
Graham Moore Tipping.
My name is Debbie Smith.
I'm a subject leader of geography and politics.
I'm a science teacher and Key Stage 3 lead.
I'm the food and nutrition teacher at the Deaf School in Derby.
I am a maths teacher at Heritage High School and also the lead representative of the Two Counties Trust.
I'm a mathematics teacher in a pupil referral unit.
And I am a semi-retired part-time English teacher in a secondary academy.
I'm a rep in the Peak District. I'm also a caseworker in Northern Derbyshire.
I'm a history teacher at Blue Coat Trail Academy, and I am workplace rep and lead rep for my trust.
And I am a teacher at Lutterworth High School and a union rep for the NEU at that school.
I'm a teacher at Frederick Gent School and the union rep.
Teacher in a Catholic school.
I think education is the most important profession there is out there. I think it's the most important thing in our society. Education opens doors for the future. It's the most important part of social mobility.
I love working with young people. I love seeing them grow, develop. I love teaching them history and how opening their eyes to the world. And yeah, it's exciting.
I think at the end of the day, I do love my subject. I love science, and I like to impart that knowledge onto people so that they have the same passion that I do.
I teach because I have a passion for the students I teach. I think nutrition is paramount of importance.
The main reason I went into teaching is because I firmly believe in investing in the future development and well-being of our young people. It gives me a great level of satisfaction when I achieve that. So,
Because the kids need better tools for themselves, better prospects for their futures.
I actually love being a teacher. I love that moment when you see a child that's been struggling with an idea and all of a sudden it makes sense to them and they can appreciate what you've been trying to teach them. I love seeing students start in year 7 when they're all bright and shiny and keen, and then they go through that awful phase in year 9 where they get all spotty and awkward, and then they emerge like butterflies at the end of year 11, having worked really hard for quite a few years. And I think that's a real privilege to see that and work with children and through those life stages.
Because there's no better job for seeing the impact you can have on young people.
Why do I teach? Felt like a good idea at the time. And it turns out I'm quite good at it, and I actually really enjoy it. I love inspiring young people and seeing them fulfil their potential. It's amazing.
I like working with young people. I want to give something back, and I'm kind of enthusiastic that everybody should be able to speak a foreign language.
Oh, I love sharing my subject. I love working with the young people. It's just joy day in and day out doing that.
An unfunded pay rise, well, let's be honest, it'd be a real terms pay cut, but an unfunded pay rise would be a huge impact on students. In my own school, rough calculations, I think that'd be about 150 to 200k loss of the budget. And there is no money left in that budget. Everything is absolutely cut to the bone. So where is that 150, 200k going to come from? Ultimately, that is going to be me or my colleagues losing their jobs, and that's going to be massively detrimental for students.
It just means less in a situation where we don't really have very much. Less support for students in classrooms, less resources for teachers at their disposal. And I think what we don't realize, it's less for parents as well. I think schools provide a lot for families, and it's just not out there without the funding.
an unfunded pay rise would ultimately threaten the job security of many of our support members of staff. And as teaching staff, obviously, we have a valuable role. Our support staff also have a valuable role in supporting us to do the very best we can for the education of our pupils. This unfunded pay award is only going to put that further at threat.
Given the students that we teach that are SEMH, high number of SEN, it would mean that all of their support and the extra bits that we can do for them, like the the mental health that we can actually put in place for them would be start to be eroded and taken away, and it would make life a lot worse for them long term and a lot worse for society in general.
It would be the worst possible thing because schools are already struggling. They haven't got enough money to pay for enough teaching assistants, to pay for enough resources for the children in the classrooms. So many of my teacher colleagues are having to buy their own pencils and their own art equipment. There's just not the money there. And for the schools then to have to find the money to pay for teachers' pay rise out of their existing funds would be terrible. No teacher wants that. We want the schools to be funded so that they got more money to spend on teachers' wages and the other things that the children need.
Well, to the school, it'll mean cuts. For the pupils, it means they won't be able to reach their potentials. They won't get the support they need. They won't get the people they need. They just won't get what they need.
It would mean that the people who need support will not get it. It means that our jobs may be in danger. It means that the teaching staff may have to teach subjects which they're not qualified to teach.
So in my school, an unfunded pay rise would mean larger class sizes with less support for the students that desperately need those interventions, those one-to-one lessons, those quiet chats when the student is struggling. There'll be nobody there ready to listen to them.
The trust I work for is already having financial difficulties and they've already been making cuts. Our non-contact time has been cut. We're teaching out of subject. We're struggling to recruit new teachers.
An unfunded pay rise will mean a cut in staffing. We're already seeing it in our MAT. People are being offered redundancies already. We see it in lack of support staff, lack of pastoral support for students who really need it.
I think it'll just be a disaster.
Well, what it's done is strip things back to the bare bones.
Well, to start off with, they stopped funding counsellors for secondary schools. That was something that happened immediately when the condemns got in 2010. So we had a counsellor that used to come in every single week and the funding was stopped immediately. So that means straight away that children that were suffering from anxiety, depression, a whole range of mental health problems, suddenly had no one to turn to anymore. And then the burden falls on the teachers.
It's just been a slow drip and attack year after year on the profession.
Class sizes have gone bigger.
Even ridiculous things like teachers having to fund their own pens and glue sticks and things that are basics.
Reduction in teachers, it's teachers teaching outside of subject specialisms.
15 years of underinvestment in education has pretty much ripped the heart out of places. It has meant we have less people to support students. It means we have a great increase in the problems with student mental health, with teacher mental health.
You can see the levels of poverty within children.
No support services available. It's crisis in mental health not being addressed.
We're already on the bare bones structure of number of people we need in classrooms. I know of colleagues who when somebody's off, rather than the school be able to afford a cover teacher even, people are being asked to teach 2 classes together in the hall. So that's what it means. It means lack of support for students in classrooms and outside of classrooms, and that's what it means.
There's a small proportion of students that the education system works for, but for most people and for most students, I think they're coming out of it without a proper education because it's just, there's just nothing there for them.
Living in the 21st century, we're trying to deliver a 21st century education on what sometimes feels like 19th century means. It just doesn't add up.
Also, the staff are leaving because they're under so much pressure because with Ofsted and all the scrutiny that we're under to be teaching absolutely perfect lessons the whole time when you've not got a teaching assistant in the room where you used to have one, where children that have got special needs just are not getting the support they need and therefore they're not reaching their full potential.
It's not just underinvestment in education, it's underinvestment in everything. The rise of billionaires, the rise of the right is all to do with underinvesting in the children that we've got now and allowing them to reach the potential that they can do.
In the past 15 years, I've seen class sizes increase, I would say, by about 5 or 6 students per class that I teach. I have seen school buildings crumbling as a result of underfunding. I have seen the provision that we're able to offer to SEND students reduced, the number of support staff, LSA staff go down. The activities such as getting outside musicians in to do workshops with students, that's reduced, and the number of facilities in school going down.
It's created that situation. I think back 15 years ago, 2010, and every year 7 class was 1, no more than 22 pupils, and 2, each class had a TA going round with them for all their lessons, and that's not happened for a long time, and there's a lot of kids who need support.
It's led to a really successful school struggling to employ staff, that children are being taught by non-specialists.
We have issues that can be easily solved just with more money.
It is so important that we get that ballot threshold really high, because the more voices that we have in support, the more pressure that puts on government to do the right thing. Nobody wants to take strike action. We vote so that we don't have to take strike action.
People should vote because that's your voice, and you need to be heard. We all need to be heard. Somebody has to fight for education, and it needs to be us.
I think people should vote because they want change. We can hope for change. We can hope that next year something different is going to happen. But I think that hope isn't doing anything. If you want change, if you want to see something happen, then we need to use the only power we have, which is our collective voice.
People should vote not because they are voting for necessarily themselves and an increased pay rise. They should vote for others. There are people who are struggling to make ends meet. As I said, it does put jobs at risk in terms of it being unfunded. It stretches budgets, and ultimately that is only going to damage our pupils. And if there's one thing that should unite all teachers, no matter what union they're a part of, it's that we want the best for our students.
People should vote so that we can make the profession better, that we can live our lives the way we need to live them, and improve society and improve the prospects for all of the children that come through our doors.
Vote to go on strike, because unfortunately that's the only thing that any government will ever listen to. If you act like a doormat, you'll get your feet, people will wipe their feet on you, and we've got to be strong, and we've got to say, no, we're not having this. We are supposed to be, teachers are supposed to stand up for those less well off, those that are marginalised, and we've got to do the right thing to make sure that we get well paid and well rewarded for our endeavour, but also that the children that we work with and the other staff members that we work with have got a positive experience of coming to school, and that everyone can reach their full potential.
People should vote because it's your chance to say to the government, this is not good enough. You have an opportunity to say, we cannot survive with a 2.8 unfunded pay rise. It will hit schools massively. They'll be forced to make redundancies. They'll be forced to cut back any kind of enrichment or anything they do extra for students, and it will be, it'll be even worse than it already is.
As NEU members, you are part of a collective, and the greater the collective voice, the greater the negotiating power that we have with the government.
They should vote, even if they don't want to strike or don't agree with striking, they need to vote to have their voice heard.
If we go in saying all of our members have said that they want to strike because they are fed up of the underfunding and the way that schools are being devalued, then that puts us in a really, really strong position.
We've got to show how strong we are on this. We're sending that message that we mean that this is a problem, this on the ground in the schools, this is causing us massive problem, and the knock-on effect to our young people and the education they're receiving is going to be devastating for them. We've got to show that strength.
You must pick up your device and vote for in this indicative ballot.
A good education system is one that puts students right at the centre of it. It's one that tries to unlock the future.
I think a good education system is one that is well properly funded, that has the resources that it needs to do its job. I think it's one that listens to the voices of the teachers, of the students, and of the parents and all the people for whom it affects. And I think it's one that isn't run like a business, but as a collective people, you know, who have lives, who have things going on, and we need to treat them like that, like people.
We'll have smaller class sizes, we'll have teaching assistants, we have mental health support, we have health professionals at our doorstep, we would have counsellors.
One that is adequately resourced, one that is has full recruitment, and one where workload and stress is at acceptable levels.
A good education system is fully funded, has support for every single child and every single child's needs, and is flexible enough to provide the needs for every different type of child and every different type of educational establishment around the country.
Where everybody is very happy to go to school each day because they know that what they are doing is important and will make a difference, where children know that they are safe and that their teachers care about them and are equipped in every way to teach them and to help them reach their full potential.
We're not talking about trips to the Bahamas, we're just talking about having all the necessities, or having the pens, having the glue sticks, having everything you need to be able to do for your job. It's about having that individualised support for each person, each student. You know, we talk about every child matters, and then we don't make it happen.
One where all children get the support they need. One where teachers are able to thrive in their career, and where teachers are given the resources to be able to deliver the best possible curriculum for all students.
We'll put the students first, we'll put the teachers second, and we'll put the profit margin of the big CEOs at the bottom of the pile.
A good education system is one where students are being challenged, that they have the resources they need to do that, and good teachers.
Funded, staffed, happy, both kids and staff.